Okay, what's going on, guys? Ronan MMA back with another video. Yesterday was a huge day for UFC news, and this fight might have been the biggest of them all. This might have topped the bill. The rematch between Alex Periera, defending champion, and Israel Adesanya, a contender for the first time in at least a couple of years, three at least, is set to take place at UFC 287 in April, or was it May? Sorry, but jeez. I'm going to give my early prediction. I'm going to do a brief breakdown on this fight, how I think it will go compared to the last one, and all that good stuff. But before we get into that, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Just maybe stay away from the Luke Thomas video, since a lot of people seem to not like that one. So, yeah. Please don't steal my metaphorical eggs, right? We've been over this. I have an egg stand here. I live in rural British Columbia, and none of my neighbors have ever stolen a carton of eggs yet. They always put the $5 in the jar. You don't even need to put $5 in the jar. You just a click of your mouse, click of the phone, lifetime subscription, done deal. Okay, so the rematch, which will actually be their fourth time meeting, which is incredible. I love this because the fact that they're like calling it the rematch, the UFC is like forgetting about the kickboxing fights in terms of their promotion. They could do a trilogy if Israel wins, if they wanted to. I cannot wait. This is the fight I am the most excited for. In all honesty, this might be one of the best fights, technique wise and like implication wise, all that good stuff, that of our generation. And I'm not saying that to be corny, and I'm not exaggerating, dude. As somebody whose first martial arts and my most favorite one by far was kickboxing, watching two of the best pound for pound strikers on the planet get locked in a cage under the UFC banner with 4-ounce gloves and go to war in a rematch, no less, is like, I might have a chubby a little bit just thinking about it. I might. I'm not saying I do, but I might. This fight is incredible, and I cannot wait for this fight. I think, though, the Luke Thomas fans will not like this take either. I think that Israel Adesanya probably gets finished again. And, full disclosure, I don't necessarily like Israel Adesanya as a person. I find him annoying and corny and cringe and all that, which I'm sure many of you think of me. But with that being said, I don't have pink hair and I don't paint my nails. So, no, it's not just that. I don't know, man. But that doesn't matter because I am a very big fan of him fighting. Like, I love watching him fight. Typically what I'll do is I'll just mute his post-fight interview, and then I just don't ever have anything bad to say about him because I didn't hear him talk. Alex Pereira, on the other hand, is my like all-time favorite kickboxer. I've been watching him for years. I was so excited to hear that he had entered MMA. I am so glad that he was able to, like, the UFC obviously helped facilitate this, right? They gave him fights. He got only, 3 or 4 fights before he was offered a title shot. But the problem is that the UFC can facilitate that. But if the fighter does not deliver, then it does not happen. And we've seen this time and again with Darren Till. The UFC gave that man every goddamn opportunity to get a fucking title shot after his first, and well, he did get a title shot, but I'm talking about middleweight here because they wanted him versus Izzy. They gave him every opportunity, and like Izzy said about Darren, he just fumbled the bag time and time again, my guy. I don't know how he's so rich, but so I think that Alex Periera is the best striker pound for pound on the planet. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Y'all Luke Thomas fans, and not just Luke Thomas fans, I'm kidding there. I'm just trying to poke the bear a bit, but Anybody who's like a staunch Israel Adesanya fan will, there's the same talking points. Well, he was winning that fight. He almost finished him in the first round. He was dominating that fight, blah, 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 blah. And I know that this is not how fights are scored. But if we go based off of minutes won in that fight, right? Kind of like the Brandon Moreno, Davidson Figueiredo trilogy, where Brandon Moreno would be winning, or almost like every time Chito Vera fights, right? His opponent will be winning the round, 4 minutes of it, and then Chito, or in this case, in the case I was talking about before, Davidson Figueiredo, lands a big shot, manages to drop their opponent, does enough damage to steal that round away, which is not the same as like stealing a round away with a takedown. Like, I don't think that works anymore. It might work on some judges, but I don't think that works anymore. But dropping somebody and doing significant damage, that steals rounds, right? If we look at round 1, Alex Periera won that round up until he almost, got finished. And there's a world where a judge scores that round for Alex Periera, because while that did definitely hurt Alex Periera, one of the shots landed after the bell, and he didn't get knocked down. He just got dropped. It was just a bad look for the end of the round, and it probably left a stamp on the judge's memory. But every shot that Alex Periera landed, like, Alex Periera did not land less significantly than Israel did in any way. Like, his leg kicks are more thudding, his body kicks are more thudding, his jabs are more thudding, everything. And in that first round, he wasn't letting Izzy get away with a lot. And then Izzy hurts him. Second round, he won, in my opinion, on the feet. And then the third round was the takedown and ground control round. So the Izzy's got the 5 minutes there. But so out of the first round, in my mind, Alex Periera won like 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And then won the next round, right? And then got dominated for the third, which, I mean, it is what it is. And then the fourth round, I can't even remember how the fourth round went. Izzy definitely won it, though. But at that point, you're almost 2 rounds to 2 going into the fifth. Like, if Izzy doesn't land those big shots at the end of the round, in round 1, you're looking at an even fight going into the fifth round. So, in my opinion, Alex Periera didn't get dominated in that fight. He got beat slightly. And then he finished Izzy. And up until that point, he was winning that round. Round 5. Like, it wasn't like he was getting his ass beat and then landed a big shot in round 5. He went after Izzy in round 5, and he won that whole round. And I'm sick of hearing this narrative that Izzy keeps putting out there about the perennial nerve. I get that he's got to do it kind of for his image. This shit drives me crazy. He did not get... That's not what the issue was. The perennial nerve is not the issue. He's lying. He's lying. This is one of the reasons why I don't like him. He did not take that loss well. He said enough good things to make it seem like he took that loss well, and then showed up at the press conference in a fur coat. And then for the following week, in every interview he ever did, he coped. Point blank period. Okay? Because the wayward step, the odd thing that we saw about Izzy's leg in round 5, which he's trying to say it was like the first kick Alex Periera landed, but his footwork looked fine the entire fucking time. Up until Alex Periera checked a kick about as perfectly as you can check a kick. And it sent Izzy doing a backward somersault on some Tony Ferguson shit. And then he popped back up, and for a little bit I thought, oh, that's not good. His leg's like actually damaged. But it wasn't. He stepped on it gingerly for like a couple seconds and then shucked and jive his way out of a corner. The reason he couldn't move at the end of the fight was because he was rocked and his legs weren't working. And if he would have tried to move, he probably would have fell over, which he did, by the way. We saw that happen. So if he tried to do that more, he would have just ended up on his ass, and Alex Periera would have probably flatlined him. And I'll give Luke Thomas credit in this. He did not try to defend Izzy when Izzy was talking about that being an early stoppage. That was not an early stoppage. Well, it was an early stoppage. a little bit. It doesn't make it a bad stoppage. The two can be separate, right? Mark Goddard, what was probably going through Mark Goddard's mind was Alex Periera lands one more punch and Israel Adesanya is fucking paralyzed on the canvas, stiff as a board, which is probably going to happen because Israel was looking at the ground. He was not looking up, shucking and jiving. He tried to do this thing on aerial where he made it seem like his hands were up as he was shucking and jiving. He literally did this. My hands are up. No, they fucking weren't, my guy. They were dangling at your feet. So stop coping and accept it. And this is part of the reason why I think he's going to lose this rematch. Because if all of his excuses after the fact was not just for, like, media image, right? And if it was actually for self-image, like, if he's actually telling himself this, then that's a fucking problem. Because then in his mind, he shouldn't have even lost. He should have won. He got screwed. The referee robbed him instead of the judges, which is not what happened. Like, he got fucked up at the ending sequence there. And what was coming was a scissor knee, like a jump switch knee. That's what was coming. If Izzy kept doing what he was doing the way he was doing it, and he would have been so viciously flatlined. And if it was anybody that was not named Alex Periera, I wouldn't say that, but if you've watched enough Alex Periera fights, you know what's coming. Especially once he's got you hurt, my guy. So I hope that Izzy's actually accepted that loss. Because, again, like I said, if what he was saying after the fact wasn't just for media image and was for also self-image, then I think he's got a problem on his hands. And I think he'd have a problem on his hands anyways. I reckon that he gets finished earlier. Now, that's a low bar to set for myself because earlier means any round that wasn't round 5. When I mean earlier, I mean probably before championship rounds is what I would say. Round 2, round 3, something like that. I think that in terms of grappling, Israel Adesanya, in my opinion. So here's what I'm thinking. Like, the knowledge that or the time that it would take you to become from white belt to like a blue belt is not the same as the time it would take you to go from purple to brown, right? Or like brown to black, obviously. Now, Israel Adesanya allegedly was gifted, I think it was the purple belt. I don't necessarily think, I mean, I'm not going to opine on that strongly because I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. I know about jiu-jitsu, but I do not practice it. So, but from what I've seen on the ground, he is not, you know what I mean? Like, Nicky Rodriguez is like fucking a purple belt. And, that guy would do whatever the fuck he wanted to Izzy if they had a jiu-jitsu match. So, but my point is that Alex Periera can learn more things faster or more quickly than Izzy can, because at a certain point you start learning extremely advanced things, and not only that, you're just honing stuff in. You're just getting better and better and better and better. But at the beginning stages, like from white belt to blue belt, you're learning all this shit. Whereas Alex Periera hasn't had a lot of time to do all that. But now he was just given, like, what, 6 months, 8 months? 6 months to improve on his grappling and takedown defense. And if he did not go for that stupid trip in round 3, Izzy wouldn't have been able to control him, despite what Izzy says. Oh, I was just going to take him down again and fucking hold him there. Like, no, you weren't, you idiot. The only reason you got that opportunity was because he did that to himself. And then he left you frozen like Elsa. So, words come back to bite ya. Because he literally was frozen. He was like a deer in headlights. He couldn't move. He didn't know what to do because he knew if he stepped, he was going to fall over. And he was kind of just like, shit. You know, which deers do that when you're driving by them, for those of you that live in the city. I've hit a deer before, and they're fucking idiots. They will literally panic and run into your car. They don't go the other way. The deer that I hit was not in the middle of the road. And he went, oh, hey, look, a car. And he bolted out in front of me. And I was like, are you kidding me, dude? I had no time to slow down whatsoever. Now we're off on a tangent here. Dude, this fight is so fucking good. I knew this video was going to take me too long. But I am so excited for it. I think Alex Periera gets a finish before championship rounds. And yeah, dude. Izzy's made so much money, man. He could retire and, you know, and just be done. Despite what people say about how much UFC champions get paid, that's okay. Anyways. I am going to go now, I think. Great fight. Can't wait for it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Alex Periera by KO before round 4. See ya.